Welcome back. When we picture a great metropolis, our minds naturally drift to towering skylines of steel and glass, reaching relentlessly up from the concrete jungles we know so well. We are told that true empires are constructed from the ground up. Welcome back. Placing one heavy stone upon another to conquer the sky. But the story of one of the ancient world's most magnificent capitals defies this fundamental logic incompletely. It was never built by stacking bricks toward the welcome back, but by slowly carving downwards into the silent depths of the earth. Imagine a man named Michael sitting inside a glass skyscraper high above the glowing, relentless grid of Manhattan at midnight. Welcome back. His eyes burn from the harsh blue light of dual monitors displaying endless stock charts, while the muffled hum of late-night traffic and sirens echoes faintly through the heavy triple-paned windows. He is exhausted by the constant pressure of modern deadlines. Welcome back. Yet his mind remains stubbornly wired, spinning in circles like the endless subway trains beneath the pavement. For Michael, and for anyone who feels the weight of a world that never stops moving, there is a quiet ancient escape waiting far beyond the noise of concrete and steel. Welcome back. Leave behind the flickering screens, the urgent notifications, and the relentless ticking of the office clock, and let your consciousness drift toward a vastly different landscape where time operates by the slow, majestic rhythms of the natural earth. Far across the Atlantic Ocean, welcome back. Beneath a vast canopy of brilliant desert stars lies a realm where silence is not merely the absence of noise, but a deep, comforting presence that enfolds every passing thought. Here, welcome back. The dry desert breeze whispers through towering stone canyons that have stood undisturbed for thousands of years, offering a sanctuary of absolute calm. As the artificial lights of the city fade completely from your mind, step softly into the cool night air of the Jordan Valley. Welcome back. Where the ancient red dust beneath your feet chew into a forgotten world of peace. The journey begins not with a grand gateway of polished marble or steel, but with a natural, violent fracture in the earth itself. Welcome back. Every step away from the blinding glare of fluorescent office lights brings you deeper into a realm where the ground has literally split open to offer a hidden sanctuary. You leave the vast open expanse of the arid Jordanian desert behind, stepping slowly into the deep, welcome back, winding embrace of a colossal gorge known as the Sick. Rising up on either side of you, the massive sandstone cliffs loom like silent ancient sentinels, their jagged edges reaching nearly 300 feet into the cooling night air. Welcome back. The sheer walls of rocks are so incredibly close together that in some narrow twisting passages you could almost reach out and touch both sides simultaneously. As you venture deeper into this winding stone corridor, the residual welcome back, suffocating heat of the desert day vanishes completely, by a refreshing cavernous chill that sweeps gently across your tired skin. Looking upward from the canyon floor, the boundless desert sky is suddenly reduced to a mere jagged ribbon of deep indigo. Welcome back, tracing the irregular outline of the towering stone canopy above. A handful of bright distant dusts flicker through this narrow tear in the earth, offering a faint silver illumination that casts long distorted shadows along the winding path. Even in this profound welcome back, enveloping darkness, the sheer walls possess a mesmerizing, almost breathing quality, their undulating surfaces reaching swirling layers of deep rust-bruised purple and burnt charcoal. The abrasive texture of the sandstone, welcome back, worn smooth in places by centuries of rushing water and whistling wind, feels incredibly solid and grounding beneath your fingertips. You are no longer moving across the chaotic surface of the modern world, but rather descending safely into its very welcome back. Completely enveloped by a comforting darkness that demands absolutely nothing of you, in this secluded subterranean passage, the deafening roar of city sirens, the endless hum of traffic, and the frantic rhythm of modern American life are entirely erased. Welcome back. They are replaced by an acoustic environment of absolute reverent stillness that feels almost sacred. The only sound that exists here is the soft, rhythmic crunch of dry sand and loose gravel, yielding beneath your slow, deliberate boots. Welcome back. Each footfall echoes softly against the undulating canyon walls, creating a hypnotic, rhythmic heartbeat that guides you further into the embracing silence. Occasionally, a gentle breeze funnels through the twisting corridors, carrying with it the faint welcome back, earthy scent of ancient dust and the distant soothing whisk of forgotten desert winds. It is a profound quietness that does not feel empty or isolating, but rather heavy with the comforting weight of untold centuries. Welcome back. Gently coaxing your racing pulse to finally slow down and match its ancient, unhurried pace. As you navigate the endless, meandering curves of the Sick, you begin to notice the subtle, sweeping grooves carved horizontally across the towering rock faces. These welcome back. Fluid striations are the permanent memory of violent flash floods that roared through this very channel over millions of years, meticulously sculpting this passage drop by single drop. You are quite literally walking through a magnificent masterpiece of geological time. Welcome back. a silent testament to the slow, irresistible power of nature that completely dwarfs the fleeting urgency of our human anxieties. To walk this shadowed path is to surrender to a timeline far greater than quarterly financial reports, endless emails, or chaotic morning commutes. Welcome back. It allows the immense silent weight of the stone to absorb all of your lingering stress, washing away the superficial worries of the world above. The path ahead twists and turns. Welcome back. Curving so sharply that you can never see more than a few dozen yards into the enveloping gloom. Every bend in the towering rock seems to promise a revelation, teasing your senses with the profound mystery of what might lie hidden at the very end of this geological birth canal. Welcome back. The darkness feels heavy with a strange magnetic anticipation, as if the ancient stone itself is holding its breath, preparing to unveil a secret it has guarded fiercely for thousands of years. What happens next will surprise you. Welcome back. As the claustrophobic shadows of the winding canyon finally begin to fracture, hinting at a staggering, impossible vision waiting just beyond the final curve for exactly 1 mile. Welcome back. The suffocating embrace of the towering sandstone walls has trained your eyes to accept the absolute darkness. Then, without any warning, the claustrophobic stone corridor abruptly splits wide open, pouring you out into a sprawling, hidden courtyard bathed in liquid silver. Welcome back. The sudden expansion of space is physically disorienting, forcing your gaze upward as the brilliant, unclouded moonlight cascades down the sheer rock face. There, glowing softly in the quiet desert night, welcome back, stands an architectural impossibility that immediately stops your breath in your chest. Through the narrow vertical slit of the canyon's exit, a pale, magnificent facade begins to reveal itself piece by piece, looking more like an elaborate theatrical illusion than solid stone. Welcome back. This is Al-Khazna, the legendary Treasury of Petra, standing majestically at a staggering 130 feet tall, completely dominating the silent plaza. Under the ethereal glow of the desert moon, the smoother pale rose rock seems to emit a faint internal luminescence. Welcome back. Sharply contrasting with the rugged, untamed cliffs surrounding it, 6 colossal Corinthian columns, each perfectly proportioned and flawlessly smooth, rise gracefully from the dusty floor to support an incredibly intricate classical pediment. Elaborate floral friezes. Welcome back. Mythological figures and delicate geometric patterns are etched with impossible precision into the living, breathing rock, defying the harsh, corrosive nature of the brutal desert winds. Unlike the towering steel monuments of modern American cities, welcome back, which are painstakingly assembled piece by metallic piece, this majestic structure was never truly built at all. It was simply freed from the ancient mountain, a perfect symmetrical masterpiece waiting silently within the chaotic geology for millions of years. Welcome back. Standing at the base of these immense pillars, you feel wonderfully insignificant, completely untethered from the relentless demands of the modern 21st century. The sheer overwhelming scale of the carved facade demands absolute reverence. Welcome back. Drawing your eyes up to the massive stone urn perched at the very pinnacle, long rumoured to hold the gold of ancient pharaohs. Not a single seam, joint or drop of mortar exists anywhere in this colossal facade, because the entire towering monument is composed of one single, welcome back, uninterrupted piece of the Earth's crust. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated awe, a gentle visual shock that forcefully resets your understanding of human capability and ambition in the ancient world. Here's where it gets interesting. Welcome back. Because the profound realization of what you are actually begins to slowly sink into your relaxed, wandering mind to create a facade of this staggering magnitude in the middle of a barren, welcome back, unforgiving wasteland requires a level of engineering genius that rivals any modern architectural firm. But without heavy machinery, scaffolding or modern computers, how did they manage to carve such flawless perfection out of a sheer vertical cliff face? Welcome back. The answer to that lingering question fundamentally defies everything we instinctively understand about modern construction. When we look at the glittering skylines of cities like New York or Chicago, we see magnificent monuments. Welcome back. These modern marvels are always built methodically from the ground up. We begin by pouring deep concrete foundations into the earth and carefully stacking heavy steel beams. We meticulously assemble vast panels of glass as we reach ambitiously toward the clouds. Welcome back. We conquer empty vertical space by constantly adding new materials until a towering structure takes shape. The ancient Nabataeans accomplished their breathtaking architectural miracle by doing the exact opposite of this familiar process. Welcome back. They did not build this colossal monument by carrying heavy stones into the winding canyon. Instead, they created unparalleled beauty by simply removing everything from the cliff that was not the treasury, rather than starting their arduous work at the dusty floor of the plaza. Welcome back. The master stone cutters looked upward. They climbed to the dizzying, sun-baked heights of the rugged canyon wall to begin their masterpiece. They painstakingly carved a narrow, perfectly flat plateau directly into the summit of the rock face. Welcome back. This small clearing served as their precarious start for the long decades of work ahead. Standing on that ledge, suspended more than 100 feet above the silent void, they began carving straight downwards. Welcome back. They were not traditional architects erecting a freestanding building from the dirt. They were visionary sculptors slowly peeling away the heavy protective layers of the earth itself. As they chipped away at the rose-coloured sandstone, welcome back, the colossal Corinthian columns gradually emerged. But the real secret of this ancient method is far more terrifying than you might ever imagine. In the familiar world of modern American engineering, a structural mistake is usually just a temporary setback. Welcome back. It can be easily corrected with additional time and money. If a brick is laid crookedly or a concrete pour fails, the flawed material is quickly demolished. The construction process is simply started over with minimal consequence. Welcome back. Working exclusively from the top down into a sheer wall of solid bedrock created a completely different reality. It meant there was absolutely zero margin for human error at the entire project. Welcome back. A single miscalculated hammer strike could completely ruin a delicate floral carving. One overly aggressive chisel blow might fatally shatter a crucial structural support, because the towering monument was inextricably attached to the living mountain. Welcome back. A ruined column could never be uninstalled. It could not be casually replaced with a fresh piece of quarried stone. Any catastrophic mistake would have permanently scarred the pristine facade for eternity. Now listen carefully. Welcome back. Because the sheer logistical brilliance of this ancient endeavour will fundamentally change your perspective. It will permanently alter how you view the absolute limits of ancient human intelligence. As these masterful artisans carved their way down the rock face, welcome back, they faced a unique problem. The very mountain they were systematically destroying had to become their only reliable support system. They ingeniously utilized the discarded, fragmented sandstone rubble as a naturally shifting scaffold. Welcome back. The workers safely stood on the accumulated debris and continuously lowered it as they worked toward the canyon floor. This incredible technique required the master builders to possess an unfathomable level of foresight. Welcome back. They had to perfectly envision the complex mathematical proportions of the entire facade before striking the very first blow. Every single intricate architectural detail was flawlessly mapped out entirely in their mind. Welcome back. It was projected silently onto the raw cliff without the comforting luxury of printed blueprints. It is a profoundly humbling historical realization that quickly forces your endlessly restless mind to pause. Welcome back. You are compelled to simply stare upward at the illuminated stone in absolute quiet disbelief. The heavy, peaceful silence of the hidden desert canyon slowly wraps around your weary shoulders. It seems to gently amplify the unseen ghosts of those rhythmic ancient hammer strikes. Welcome back. You can almost hear them steadily echoing through this solitary valley over 2,000 years ago. In an unforgiving era completely devoid of towering cranes and roaring bulldozers, these mysterious desert nomads achieved the impossible. Welcome back. They did not arrogantly conquer the violent nature of the desert by artificially imposing foreign materials upon it. Instead, they achieved their lasting immortality by working in perfectly synchronized harmony with the ancient earth. Welcome back. They left behind a glowing masterpiece that licently challenges the disposable nature of our rapidly changing world. To truly comprehend the sheer unyielding audacity required to carve such a monumental masterpiece into the living rock, welcome back. We must first understand the relentless minds of the people who commanded its creation. The Nabataeans were not fortunate heirs born into established royalty, nor were they handed a thriving, wealthy civilization on a silver platter. Welcome back. They originally began their long historical journey as rugged, obscure nomads, endlessly wandering the harsh, unforgiving frontier of the brutal Arabian desert. They were the ultimate survivors in a sweeping, barren wasteland that would have easily broken lesser men. Welcome back. Relying entirely on their fierce resilience and an insatiable, driving ambition. Much like the bold early pioneers who confidently pushed westward across the vast American plains in search of a better destiny, these ancient wanderers saw boundless, welcome back, untapped opportunity in a desolate place where traditional empires only saw danger at empty wilderness. In this rapidly evolving society of self-made survivors, imagine a brilliant and ambitious man named Malichus, who slowly rose from the dusty, welcome back, chaotic ranks of his nomadic tribe to become a visionary master builder. He was not a classically trained engineer comfortably educated in the pristine, privileged marble halls of Rome or Athens. Malichus was instead a wildly innovative, self-taught genius of the desert frontier. Welcome back. Possessing an independent, pioneering spirit that constantly pushed the boundaries of what was physically possible, he deeply understood that to permanently elevate his people from forgotten, wandering desert dwellers to respected global power players, welcome back. They desperately needed a magnificent physical anchor. He ambitiously envisioned a spectacular, enduring metropolis carved directly into protective canyon walls, serving as an indestructible testament to their hard-won, independent prosperity and their relentless welcome back. Entrepreneurial drive, but here is where it gets interesting, because their unprecedented, explosive rise to staggering wealth was not violently achieved through brutal military conquest or the fortunate inheritance of fertile lands. Welcome back. It was meticulously built upon a foundation of brilliant strategic enterprise and an absolute unrivaled mastery of the treacherous desert environment that surrounded them. Under the daring, forward-thinking guidance of ambitious architects and leaders like Malika, welcome back. The Nabataeans quietly transformed their secluded rocky sanctuary into the most vital, indispensable hub of the ancient global economy. They aggressively and intelligently cornered the incredibly lucrative ancient supply chain, welcome back, effectively monopolizing the vital flow of precious commodities moving constantly between the mysterious East and the wealthy West through sheer unadulterated grit and continuous groundbreaking innovation. Welcome back. These former tent-dwelling wanderers successfully manifested the ultimate ancient version of the self, completely transforming a desolate, forgotten valley into the beating, prosperous heart of a magnificent commercial empire. Welcome back. When modern minds picture the deep Arabian desert, they instinctively imagine an environment much like the unforgiving sun-baked expanses of Death Valley or the endless scorching dunes of the Mojave. It is a deeply ingrained welcome back natural human tendency to envision this ancient metropolis as a beautifully but ultimately parched and dusty tomb complex where mere survival was a daily desperate struggle against brutal dehydration. We look at the dry, welcome back, rust-coloured sandstone cliffs and automatically that a civilization born from rugged nomadic wanderers, isolated in a canyon of baked rock, must have lived a quiet life defined entirely by the harsh, relentless scarcity of water. Welcome back. But what happened next will fundamentally shatter our modern assumptions about this lost world. The brilliantly innovative Nabataeans did not merely survive their arid, unforgiving environment, they completely and utterly subjugated it to their grandest ambitions. Welcome back. Petra was not a dusty, desperate frontier outpost at all, but rather the magnificent ancient equivalent of a glowing desert mirage brought vividly to physical reality. It was an impossible, opulent ancient precursors to Las Vegas, rising defiantly and spectacularly from the barren, welcome back, silent wasteland. Instead of flashing neon lights, towering glass casinos and electric air conditioning, this ancient metropolis announced its staggering wealth and immense power through the ultimate unimaginable luxury of the ancient world, the extravagant, continuous welcome back and public display of fresh water through a profoundly sophisticated, completely hidden system of perfectly pitched terracotta pipes, deeply carved subterranean cisterns, and precisely engineered aqueducts. Welcome back. They captured every single precious drop of winter flash floods and distant mountain springs. Imagine walking through the dusty center of this supposedly dead, arid canyon and suddenly being surrounded by the constant welcome back soothing melody of flowing water gently cascading over intricately carved stone edges. There were massive, shimmering public swimming pools reflecting the bright blue desert sky, beautifully terraced botanical gardens blooming with exotic imported flora and welcome back. Decorative stone fountains spraying cool, refreshing mist into the dry desert air. This was a place where wealthy traders from across the globe could comfortably recline beside monumental reflecting pools, passively listening to the rhythmic welcome back, hypnotic bubbling of water coursing like lifeblood through the very walls of the canyon for a weary, dust-covered traveller who had just spent grueling, blistering weeks navigating the hostile sand dunes under a punishing sun. Welcome back. Entering the heart of Petra was like stepping into a waking dream of impossible, life-giving abundance. The entire acoustic environment of the city was carefully orchestrated to soothe the exhausted soul, completely replacing the howling, aggressive desert winds with the delicate welcome back. Continuous trickling of unseen streams routing through the city's vast hydraulic circulatory system. Every shaded stone courtyard, every opulent villa, and every hidden temple echoed softly with this gentle liquid heart, welcome back, creating a profoundly calming atmosphere that immediately washed away the deep, heavy exhaustion of the long, perilous journey. It was a brilliantly designed sanctuary where the relentless, oppressive heat of the outer world simply ceased to exist, replaced by a cool, fragrant welcome back and deeply relaxing microclimate. This astonishing mastery of water engineering was not simply a practical matter of basic civic survival, it was the ultimate undeniable demonstration of imperial wealth and unbridled psychological dominance. Welcome back. By transforming a naturally lethal landscape into a lush, dry paradise of fountains and shaded pools, the Nabataeans quietly proved to every visiting empire that they possessed a power far greater than mere military might. They held the absolute mastery of life itself. Welcome back, miraculously turning the harshest, most unforgiving stone into a gentle, nurturing cradle that sang a perpetual watery lullaby to anyone fortunate enough to find shelter within its monumental rose-red embrace. Welcome back. How could any visiting Roman diplomat or wealthy silk merchant not willingly empty their heavy purses in a miraculous city that could seemingly make the solid rock weep cool, sweet water? To fully comprehend the breathtaking magnitude of such an architectural wonder, welcome back, one must gracefully trace the invisible yet immensely profitable threads of commerce that effortlessly sustained its daily life. Long before modern international shipping lanes connected distant continents, welcome back. The ancient world relied entirely upon perilous overland tracks crossing unforgiving deserts to transport its most luxurious and sought-after commodities. Deep within the protected hollows of the Redstone Canyon, welcome back. Shrewd merchants carefully accumulated vast fortune by successfully dominated legendary incense routes stretching endlessly toward the horizon. Here, endless lines of heavily laden camels slowly arrived carrying precious sacks of aromatic frankincense, rare medicinal myrrh, welcome back. Shimmering bolts of fine silk and gleaming ingots of pure gold, every single transaction conducted within this bustling secret valley contributed directly to the astonishing accumulation of wealth that allowed the stone-carved facades to grow ever more grand and elaborate. Welcome back. As the central crossroads where eastern treasures met western demands, the city quietly collected heavy tolls and taxes from caravans seeking safety and fresh water within the arid wilderness. This brilliant welcome back, highly organized economic monopoly transformed a humble gathering of nomadic traders into an undisputed superpower of the ancient commercial world without requiring a single bloody conquest. Instead of wielding swords to build their magnificent empire, welcome back. These visionary merchants simply utilized the irresistible allure of exotic luxury goods to make the entire ancient world willingly pour its riches directly into their hands. When evening finally descended upon the towering canyon walls, welcome back. Casting long and gentle shadows across the monumental rose-red facades, the bustling metropolis transformed into an oasis of profound and enveloping tranquility. Far away from the sterile fluorescent-lit apartments and the constant mechanical hum of modern American city life, welcome back. The ancient inhabitants and weary travelers gathered beneath a magnificent canopy of sparkling desert stars. Warm fires flickered softly against the cool sandstone, casting dancing amber lights that painted the towering cliffs in soothing shades of gold and copper. The heavy welcome back, sweet aroma of burnt frankincense and aromatic resin drifted lazily through the still night air, blending harmoniously with the earthy scent of ancient stone and cooling dust. Inside the sheltered courtyards and cavernous stone dwellings carved deeply into the mountain, welcome back. Families shared simple, nourishing meals prepared with fresh herbs and grains brought from distant fertile valleys. Welcome back. Merchants who had spent countless agonizing weeks battling blind sandstorms and scorching winds of the open desert finally loosened their heavy garments and sank into deep, restorative sleep. There were no urgent digital notifications demanding attention. Welcome back. No looming work deadlines haunting the quiet hours, and no frantic racing against the clock that characterizes the modern urban rat race. Time itself seemed to slow down and stretch out comfortably, measured only by the steady welcome back. Rhythmic breathing of tired bodies finding absolute peace in the protective embrace of the earth. As the night deepened, the vibrant sounds of daytime bargaining fade into a gentle murmuring chorus of quiet conversations, soft laughter, welcome back, and the occasional shuffle of sandaled feet along the shadowed stone pathways. High above the sleeping valley, the vast celestial sphere arched gracefully from horizon to horizon, offering a breathtaking reminder of humanity's tiny yet profound place in the universe. Welcome back. Every weary soul lying beneath those ancient rose-red cliffs felt a deep abiding sense of safety and complete release from the burdens of the waking world. It was a timeless sanctuary of pure welcome back, where the restless anxieties of daily existence dissolved entirely into the warm, scented silence of the desert night. Even the most enduring empires of the ancient world eventually found themselves subject to the quiet and relentless shifts of global commerce. Welcome back. But the decline of this majestic rose-red sanctuary did not arrive with the thunderous roar of invading armies or the devastating destruction of fiery sieges. Instead, the transformation unfolded in slow motion. Welcome back. Mirroring the subtle and invisible tides of economic change that often reshape modern American industrial landscapes, as the sprawling Roman Empire expanded its dominant reach across distant seas, welcome back. Ambitious merchants discovered faster and more predictable maritime routes connecting eastern ports directly to European markets. These new oceanic pathways gradually bypassed the perilous overland tracks through the desert, welcome back, leaving the once bustling caravan stations increasingly isolated in the vast wilderness. Here is where the true vulnerability of landlocked prosperity began to quietly reveal itself, demonstrating how easily the currents of fortune can turn away from the proudest civilization. Welcome back. Without a single drop of bloodshed or the dramatic collapse of defensive walls, the golden stream of international trade began to dwindle into a slow and sorrowful trickle. Welcome back. The grand stone courtyards that once echoed with the vibrant chatter of multilingual merchants grew progressively quieter as the decades rolled gently by. Yet this melancholy transition only added a deeper, more poignant layer of history to the silent cliffs. Welcome back. Enveloping the magnificent architecture in a dignified and reflective twilight, sudden fractures split the ancient earth. Tremors ripped through the hollow sandstone foundations. Massive columns trembled and split apart. Welcome back. Stone-carved facades groaned under violent subterranean pressure. Heavy pillars collapsed in massive dust clouds. Shockwaves shattered the intricate water channels in an instant. The earth heaved upward with terrifying force. Everything shook violently in the darkness. Welcome back. Then the violent trembling subsided into a profound and lasting stillness. A thick blanket of powdery white dust drifted downward to coat the abandoned plazas. Nature slowly reclaimed the magnificent monuments with quiet persistence. Welcome back. Fine desert sands drifted silently across the empty courtyards day after day. Delicate vines began to weave their green tendrils over the weathered thresholds of grand halls. Soft moss crept across the finely chiseled reliefs under the open sky. Centuries passed in absolute welcome back. Uninterrupted quietness beneath the blazing desert sun and the cool silver starlight. The deafening echoes of human commerce dissolved completely into the whispering desert winds. Only the occasional shadow of a soaring hawk disturbed the unbroken serenity of the majestic cliffs. Welcome back. Every trace of frantic ambition vanished beneath layers of soft earth, and undisturbed, the great canyon settled into an eternal sleep of sublime undisturbed. Welcome back. Generations slipped away into the vast expanse of unrecorded time, while the magnificent rose-red metropolis remained hidden from the restless eyes of distant Western empires. Welcome back. Maps drawn in faraway European capitals slowly erased the once legendary coordinates of the ancient caravan capital entirely. Only the proud nomadic Bedouin tribesmen who roamed the desolate canyons retained the whispered knowledge of the forgotten stone city. Welcome back. Underneath vast blankets of brilliant starlight glowing intensely across the nocturnal desert sky, these guardians of the wilderness preserved ancient oral legends across countless centuries. Welcome back. Their ancestors had walked among the towering colonnades before the great earthquakes reshaped the deep valleys into sanctuaries of absolute silence. Welcome back. But the true extent of the hidden treasures resting quietly within the winding gorges remained an impenetrable mystery to the outside world. As decades dissolved effortlessly into centuries, the majestic temples stood completely untouched by modern civilization. Welcome back. Holding their deep secrets securely within the unyielding embrace of weathered sandstone cliffs, here where time itself seemed to pause, the abandoned halls waited patiently beneath the quiet moonlit canopy for a new era of discovery to slowly awaken the sleeping stones. Welcome back. Footsteps echoed softly against the cool sandstone walls as a solitary European traveller stepped forward into the deep shadows of the twisting canyon. Disguised in traditional robes and speaking fluent Arabic, welcome back. The determined Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt advanced cautiously through the winding subterranean corridor in 1812. Welcome back. His heart beat steadily within the quiet darkness while he searched for the legendary lost metropolis that modern maps had long forgotten. Every cautious stride brought him closer to the magnificent architectural marvel hidden deep within the arid wilderness of the Middle East. Welcome back. The narrow stone passage gradually opened up to reveal the breathtaking rose-red facade of the grand monument shining softly under the golden afternoon rays. Burckhardt paused in absolute wonder. Welcome back. Absorbing the majestic sight of towering columns and ornate friezes carved directly into the living rock face, he concealed his mounting excitement beneath a calm exterior, careful not to betray the profound historical significance of his accidental rediscovery to local guides. Welcome back. The ancient kingdom revealed its long-guarded secrets once more, bridging the vast gulf between forgotten antiquity and the awakening curiosity of the modern Western world. Welcome back. As Michael finally closes his glowing laptop screen in his high-rise Manhattan apartment high above the relentless city traffic, the enduring echoes of ancient sandstone canyons invite a quiet perspective on modern ambition. Welcome back. The relentless pressures of corporate deadlines and endless digital notifications suddenly feel remarkably weightless when measured against the magnificent unhurried timeline of carved stone monuments. Welcome back. Every civilization that ever erected grand monuments eventually discover time reclaims its quiet dominion over human achievement. Welcome back. The majestic rose-red ruins stand as a gentle reminder that personal anxieties and frantic daily pursuits do not require constant struggle to maintain their value. Just as the desert wind smoothed away the sharp edges of forgotten temples, welcome back. The gentle passage of night offers a natural boundary to wrap around a weary mind. Let the heavy burdens of the waking hours dissolve into the cool evening air, leaving only the profound stillness of an ancient landscape behind. Welcome back. As the distant stars drift slowly across the vast expanse of the desert night sky, casting a gentle silver glow over the ancient facades, the burdens of the waking world gradually fade away into the quiet darkness. Welcome back. Every whispered breath carries the peaceful assurance that the quiet corridors of time will gently cradle whatever worries remain, letting them dissolve completely beneath the ancient starlight. There is nothing left to achieve or solve in this serene sanctuary where the smooth welcome back Silent stone breathes softly with the rhythm of the universe. Close your tired eyes now and drift effortlessly into a deep, peaceful slumber wrapped safely in the timeless embrace of the desert night. The contemporary world stretches across a sprawling expanse of concrete jungles. Welcome back. Where towering skyscrapers pierce the clouds and the relentless hum of modern infrastructure drowns out the quiet reflections of the human spirit. Amidst this perpetual motion, individuals like Michael, a weary finance specialist navigating the high-stakes pressure of New York City, welcome back, find themselves tethered to glowing monitors and the incessant roar of urban traffic. Yet beneath the weight of corporate deadlines and digital notifications there exists an alternative rhythm, an invitation to step away from the concrete labyrinth and drift into an ancient welcome back, timeless sanctuary carved directly into the living rock of the Arabian desert. Long before the rise of modern industrial empires, human ambition manifested not in structural additions built upward from the ground, but in grand visions subtracted from the earth itself. Welcome back. The journey into this hidden realm begins far away from the bustling avenues of Western metropolises, leading straight into the heart of a twisting subterranean corridor known as the Sick. Welcome back. Footsteps echo softly against the cool sandstone walls as a solitary traveller advances cautiously through the winding pathway under a canopy of sheer cliff faces. High above, the night sky is reduced to a thin, jagged ribbon of midnight blue. Welcome back. Shutting out the glaring lights of civilization and replacing them with a profound enveloping darkness. Every stride brings a deeper sense of quiet isolation, where the chaotic noise of the modern world fades into absolute stillness as the narrow stone passage slowly unfolds. Welcome back. The towering rose-red facade of the grand monument known as Al-Khazne suddenly emerges into the soft golden wash of moonlight. Colossal columns and ornate friezes, painstakingly chiseled into the living rock, stand as a breathtaking testament to human ingenuity. Here, welcome back. A profound visual revelation takes hold, defying the conventional architectural logic of antiquity. The master builders of this hidden realm did not stack brick upon mortar to raise their city toward the heavens. Instead, standing on the unforgiving upper ledges of sheer precipices, welcome back, they carved their magnificent metropolis downward, removing the superfluous with uncompromising precision. A single miscalculated hammerstroke offered no room for error, demanding an absolute mastery of both material and space. Welcome back. This audacious enterprise was forged by the Nabataeans, an ambitious society of former desert nomads who transformed themselves into the sovereign pioneers of the ancient trade routes. Led by visionary figures like Malichus and the brilliant architects of their ruling elite, welcome back. These self-made empire builders rose from the marginal dunes of northern Arabia to dominate the lucrative pathways of the ancient world. Welcome back. What began as a mobile existence governed by the search for seasonal waterholes evolved into a flourishing capital that rivaled the greatest power centres of the classical era. They mastered the harsh, arid environment, turning a seemingly hostile wilderness into a secure, welcome back, wealthy stronghold protected by impassable natural fortresses. Far from being a dry, desolate outpost, this ancient metropolis functioned as the vibrant Las Vegas of the ancient. Welcome back. Beneath the towering pink cliffs lay a flourishing oasis featuring sophisticated networks of cascading fountains, cool public pools and subterranean channels that carried rushing water with melodic precision. Through ingenious hydraulic engineering, building dams, cisterns, welcome back, and waterproof aqueducts, these resourceful people harnessed torrential winter flash floods, converting destructive natural forces into a life-giving supply of fresh water that sustained thousands of residents and travelers. Welcome back. The extraordinary wealth that fueled this desert miracle flowed directly from the legendary incense and spice routes. Fragrant frankincense, precious myrrh, glittering gold, fine silk and exotic spices traversed the arid expanse on camelback. Welcome back. Converging on this secure valley hub before making their way toward Mediterranean ports, merchants, diplomats and weary desert wanderers found sanctuary within the rose-red walls, partaking in an opulent lifestyle supported by international commerce. Welcome back. Within the deep embrace of the canyon, daily life pulsed with a vibrant rhythmic energy. As evening fell, flickering campfires cast dancing shadows across the sandstone chambers, blending the rich, sweet scent of burnt aromatics with the cool night air. Welcome back. Exhausted caravans rested after weeks of grueling travel across endless dunes, sharing stories and provisions in an atmosphere of absolute community. This communal serenity offered a sharp, soothing contrast to welcome back. High-speed existence defining modern urban life centuries later. Yet, even those formidable empires are subject to the slow, relentless currents of historical change. The transition came not through sudden, catastrophic warfare, but via the quiet evolution of global trade. Welcome back. As maritime routes across the open seas began to overshadow overland caravans, the economic lifeblood of the desert kingdom gradually shifted. The Roman annexation under Emperor Trajan brought new administrative structures. Welcome back. integrating the region into a broader imperial network while slowly altering its autonomous character. The majestic city remained a cultural crossroads, yet its golden era of untamed commercial dominance entered a protracted, melancholic twilight. Welcome back. Nature ultimately delivered the final defining transformation. A massive cataclysmic earthquake shook the foundations of the region, shattering monumental stone structures and fracturing the elaborate water systems. The violent tremors gave way to an overwhelming welcome back. Profound stillness. As the bustling crowds dispersed and the echoes of commerce faded, the desert reclaimed. Wind-blown dust and shifting sands settled gently over the plazas, while creeping vines and weather-worn textures softened the once defiant architectural lines. Welcome back. For centuries, the magnificent metropolis vanished entirely from Western maps, preserved only in the secretive oral traditions of local Bedouin tribes who watched over the silent ruins under glittering blankets of desert stars. Welcome back. The outside world forgot that such grandeur ever existed, leaving the carved facades to stand as lonely guardians of a forgotten epoch. It was not until 1812 that the Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, disguised in traditional robes and fluent in Arabic, welcome back, threaded his way through the shadowy depths of the sick to accidentally reintroduce the lost wonder to modern history. His quiet astonishment mirrored the eternal mystery locked within the stone, returning full circle to the present moment. Welcome back. The lingering spirit of the ancient rose-red city offers a profound lesson in letting go. When Michael finally closes his glowing laptop screen high above the shimmering light of Manhattan, the frantic pulse of the modern workday dissolves into the perspective of deep time. Welcome back. Corporate ambitions, financial pressures, and digital urgency ultimately yield to the quiet dignity of natural cycles. Every grand structure built by human hands eventually encounters the softening touch of history. Welcome back, reminding the weary mind that constant struggle is not required to find inherent worth. As the distant stars drift slowly across the vast expanse of the desert night sky, casting a gentle silver glow over the ancient. Welcome back. The burdens of the waking world gradually fade away into the quiet darkness. Every whispered breath carries the peaceful assurance that the quiet corridors of time will gently cradle whatever worries remain, letting them dissolve completely beneath the ancient starlight. Welcome back. There is nothing left to achieve or solve in this serene sanctuary where the smooth, silent stone breathes softly with the rhythm of the universe. Close your tired eyes now and drift effortlessly into a deep, peaceful slumber. Welcome back. Wrapped safely in the timeless embrace of the desert night, far from being a dry, desolate outpost, this ancient metropolis functioned as the vibrant Las Vegas of the ancient world. Welcome back. Beneath the towering pink cliffs lay a flourishing oasis featuring sophisticated networks of cascading fountains, cool public pools, and subterranean channels that carried rushing water with melodic precision. Through ingenious hydraulic engineering, building dams, cisterns, welcome back, and waterproof aqueducts, these resourceful people harnessed torrential winter flash floods, converting destructive natural forces into a life-giving supply of fresh water that sustained thousands of residents and travelers. Welcome back. The extraordinary wealth that fueled this desert miracle flowed directly from the legendary incense and spice routes. Fragrant frankincense, precious myrrh, glittering gold, fine silk, and exotic spices traversed the arid expanse on camelback. Welcome back. Converging on this secure valley hub before making their way toward Mediterranean ports, merchants, diplomats, and weary desert wanderers found sanctuary within the rose-red walls, partaking in an opulent lifestyle supported by international commerce. Welcome back. Within the deep embrace of the canyon, daily life pulsed with a vibrant rhythmic energy. As evening fell, flickering campfires cast dancing shadows across the sandstone chambers, blending the rich, sweet scent of burning aromatics with the cool night air. Welcome back. Exhausted caravans rested of grueling travel across endless dunes, sharing stories and provisions in an atmosphere of absolute community. This communal serenity offered a sharp, soothing contrast to the isolate. Welcome back. High-speed existence defining modern urban life centuries later, yet even the most formidable empires are subject to the slow, relentless currents of historical change. The transition came not through sudden catastrophic warfare, but via the quiet evolution of global trade. Welcome back. As maritime routes across the open seas began to overshadow overland caravan tracks, the economic lifeblood of the desert kingdom gradually shifted. The Roman annexation under Emperor Trajan brought new administrative welcome back, integrating the region into a broader imperial network while slowly altering its autonomous character. The majestic city remained a cultural crossroads, yet its golden era of untamed commercial dominance entered a protracted melancholic twilight. Welcome back. Nature ultimately delivered the final defining transformation. A massive cataclysmic earthquake shook the foundations of the region, shattering monumental stone structures and fracturing the elaborate water systems. The violent tremors gave way to an overwhelming welcome back. Profound stillness. As the bustling crowds dispersed and the echoes of commerce faded, the desert reclaimed its territory. Wind-blown dust and shifting sand settled gently over the plazas, while creeping vines and weather-worn textures softened the once defiant architectural lines. Welcome back. For centuries, the magnificent metropolis vanished entirely from Western maps, preserved only in the secretive oral traditions of local Bedouin tribes who watched over the silent ruins under glittering blankets of desert stars. Welcome back. The outside world forgot that such grandeur ever existed, leaving the carved facades to stand as lonely guardians of a forgotten epoch. It was not until 1812 that the Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, disguised in traditional robes and fluent in Arabic, welcome back, threaded his way through the shadowy depths of the Sikh to accidentally reintroduce the lost wonder to modern history. His quiet astonishment mirrored the eternal mystery locked within the stone, returning full circle to the present moment. Welcome back. The lingering spirit of the ancient rose-red city offers a profound lesson in letting go. When Michael finally closes his glowing laptop screen high above the shimmering lights of Manhattan, the frantic pulse of the modern workday dissolves into the perspective of deep time. Welcome back. Corporate ambitions, financial pressures, and digital urgency ultimately yield to the quiet dignity of natural cycles. Every grand structure built by human hands eventually encounters the softening touch of history. Welcome back. Reminding the weary mind that constant struggle is not required to find inherent worth, as the distant stars drift slowly across the vast expanse of the desert night sky, casting a gentle silver glow over the ancient facade. Welcome back. The burdens of the waking world gradually fade away into the quiet darkness. Every whispered breath carries the peaceful assurance that the quiet corridors of time will gently cradle whatever worries remain, letting them dissolve completely beneath the ancient starlight. Welcome back. There is nothing left to achieve or solve in this serene sanctuary where the smooth, silent stone breathes softly with the rhythm of the universe. Close your tired eyes now and drift effortlessly into a deep, peaceful slumber. Welcome back. Wrapped safely in the timeless embrace of